Macca's Guides.
Hey everyone, Macca here, and welcome to Mission 3 for Doom Eternal as part of the 100% walkthrough. I'll be showing you all the collectibles, the secrets, and everything else you can possibly find on the mission. And first off, Mission 3 is the first mission that has mission-specific challenges. You can go to the main menu here, go over to challenges, and make sure you're on mission challenges. I'm going to select all three of them to have them pinned up on my screen. They're pretty easy, and I'll be showing them available in the mission. There will be time links available down below as well. As soon as you start, walk a little bit forward and look to the right-hand side in the side room to find your first Codex entry. From here, we can drop down and hook onto the wall, turning around over our shoulder to jump to the next area. There are a couple of enemies here. We can skip them if we want, but they kind of get in the way, so I'm just going to take them out really quick. From here, what we can do is jump off of the kind of ribcage onto the push pad. That'll push you up, and then what you'll need to do is dash into the wall and grab on. Once you're grabbed on, shimmy on to the right-hand side nice and high, and here what we'll need to do is do the double jump, double dash onto the wall in front of us, watching out for the little red circles. Those are going to hurt us. Now, instead of going through the door directly in front of us, hook to the left and go through the secret path, blasting through a ice wall and then jumping up onto the hanging head to find a toy. I believe that is the Gargoyle, and then we can proceed with a little bit of progression. Now, as soon as we enter, I'm going to go for the mission challenge to get 4 people on fire with 1 flame belch. There are like 6 to 10 enemies all gathered on a small balcony here. So go up, use that fire belch on them, and we can, grab that mission challenge out of the way right away. There are plenty of other opportunities to get it later on in the mission, but this one is super easy as those enemies basically don't attack you. Now, kill everyone in the area, but before leaving, there is something we'll need to grab. So from the middle of the area, kind of looking back towards where we came from, just to the left of the door we dropped in from, you can find a small ledge kind of peeking out the side of the mountain. Jump up and then bash your way through the vent in order to find a meleeable switch, and it'll open up a door to a push plate that we can now go to. So we are going to go in that direction, but not quite to the push plate yet. Jump down to the right, you'll see a door, and then look to the right and down. Following the chain, you'll notice that there is a little bit of an Easter egg here. It's called a dope fish, and it's a little bit of a callback to some of id Software's other games. Nonetheless, look to the right of it, you'll see a mine. Shoot the mine, it will explode the dope fish, bring up the chain, revealing a 1-up. Then look behind you, take the little push plate, and double jump at the height of your jump, double dash, and grab the battery. At this point, go forward to the objective marker, interact with the switch, and there will be a large-scale battle here. You'll take a bunch of enemies on in a couple of different waves, and once you survive, you should be able to kind of move on from here. I'm going to take a short break with commentary, though.
Welcome, Slayer. Is my time at an end? Let's see if you're strong enough to survive this cursed city.
The Slayer has arrived. All mortally challenged personnel, please be advised.
Once you stand on the switch, it will reveal the Mancubus for the first time. Its weak points are its 2 guns. Feel free to use the shotgun launcher on it if you want. I actually didn't really use the method here, but a good strategy is to lure it into the center of the area where there are the red stripes on the ground, and then you can shoot the target above your head, and a bunch of saws will kind of come swinging down and basically instant kill any of the enemies underneath it. I tried to use it on this enemy right here, I believe, but it didn't end up working. Just take your time and take out all the enemies, though. Unfortunately, I ended up getting stuck in a corner, and basically all my life fell to the Mancubus, so I did lose a life, but it shouldn't really be too much of an issue for us. Once we finish all of the fights, at the end of the hallway, a door will now be open with a Praetor suit token directly in front of us. Feel free to spend these as you acquire them. You'll also acquire a Praetor suit point for every of the mission challenges we complete along the way. Once we have about 6 or 7 of them built up, I will end up spending them in my playthrough, but if you want to do a different playstyle, that's totally fine. Shoot the button to open up the doors, double jump, double dash underneath the opening in order to get across. Then you'll want to pull out your combat shotgun and use your sticky bomb on the Arachnotron. This is our second available mission challenge. There are probably like 20 or 30 of these enemies in the mission, so it's okay if you didn't grab it right away. We'll have plenty of opportunity to get it later. Take care of all of the enemies before the little gate opens up for us to move on, but don't move on from the area until you listen to the commentary. There is something we can miss. Once all the enemies are taken care of, you'll get a weapon point, which will open up a gate. Before we do that, go to the right-hand side. You'll notice a button. Shoot the button, double dash, double jump onto the climbable wall, climb to the top, and then jump up and to the left in order to see a platform with a 1-up. Grab the 1-up, and it'll open up a gate for us. We can jump back to... I don't think you can actually jump back where we came from, but you can loop back around from where we kind of started. And then, again, double dash, double jump, and now we can move towards the mission marker. So you can either take the blue little push pad or double jump from the higher platforms. In the middle here, underneath one of these meat grinders, there is an armor, which is optional. Feel free to grab it if you think you want it. But in order to proceed, you'll have to swing across using the swing bar, double dash, and grab the, what is this called? The Cultist key. The Cultist key will basically open up the new areas for us. And as you jump down, you'll have to kill a couple of enemies before you just kind of walk forward and open up that big door. Now, as soon as the door opens, you'll be introduced to a new enemy type, and that is the energy shield guys. Basically, you can use your plasma rifle to overcharge their shields to kill them, or if you don't want to do that, feel free to launch grenades behind them, freeze them, light them on fire, and etc., etc. After you take them out, look down and to the right from the platform from where we entered. You should notice that there is a small ledge we can jump on with a swing bar nearby. Swing off the bar and then double dash into this side cave to find another dope fish. Here we can melee through to find a secret with a 1-up inside. Now we can proceed with a little bit of mission progress. Use the push plate in order to get back up from where we came from. That push plate's not available until after you find the secret, by the way. Go across this area. We'll end up coming back here, so I would recommend leaving the mines. And then you'll want to jump down and climb on the wall. Jumping to the left and then using the push plate to jump up and to the left again for a little bit of free armor. At this point, you'll also want to switch weapons and get ready for jumping off the push plate, shooting the button, and then double dashing through the newly opened door, all in one swift motion. Melee through the drain, drop down, and grab yourself a rocket launcher. You've earned it. The rocket launcher is pretty good. It does a lot of damage, although I would probably recommend saving your ammo for big enemies. And it is also a lot better if you get the lock-on mod for it, which we'll grab later on in the mission. So feel free to use it. You can kind of... It's not really easy to use, especially on very mobile enemies, but it can be useful to, you know, do a lot of DPS on some of the bigger guys. Once all the enemies are dead, we can now swing across and find a newly opened room. Inside of this room, we can melee the push button, double jump across the swing bar, and then double jump across the swing bar the opposite direction to find a climbable wall. Climb to the top, turn around, look behind you, and double jump to find a rune. Here, you'll want to pick whatever rune you're comfortable with. I really thought that being able to glory kill from further away would be more helpful for me, so that's the one I decided to go with. But there are a few that should be useful depending on your playstyle. Just behind that rune, you can find some hanging coffins, so you'll want to jump on them. And here I'm just checking that my rune was equipped. Jump on them, and then just behind them there is an overcharge or a supercharge. And, you know, you can pick that up. It's a secret, but I don't actually think we need it for 100%. Double jump, double dash back across. We are now on the highest floor, and we can drop down and hit the button. This will start a big battle. I would highly recommend that you focus on the new enemy type, which is like the snake enemy. And you can also use the explosive mines in the area in order to take them out a lot more easily here. So this is the new enemy type. For whatever reason, I didn't get a little clue about, you know, its information like you normally would from a Codex page, but it's called a whiplash. Take out all the enemies, and then you'll be able to stand on the plate in order to open the door. As soon as the gate opens in front of us, you'll find some ammo and a mod bot. Feel free to pick whatever mod you want, but in my opinion, the best one out of the ones I didn't have was the lock-on burst of the rocket launcher. You're able to lock on to an enemy and shoot 3 rockets at it, and for most enemies, especially the bigger ones, this is pretty much an instant kill. Very useful for some of the battles that are coming up. Follow along the path, and here there will be a bunch of enemies at the bottom of the ramp. We're going to take them out using a little bit of fire to make sure we build up our armor. And then instead of walking forward, what we're going to do is jump up and to the left through a smashable door. As we smash through, walk forward, drop down, and you'll drop down directly onto a Praetor suit point. This will be locked, by the way, if you take the other route and end up coming up behind it. So once you take the point, the door will open up behind us, and now we'll have to open up the next area. To do that, you'll need to go to the mission objective, melee the box, double jump on top of it, then double jump above, and then there will be, I believe, 2 smashable chains here. So make sure you smash both of them in order to open the door. Opening this door will present us a very large and quite difficult arena battle, especially if you're playing on those harder difficulties. You guys know the drill at this point. Use that fire belch. Use that chainsaw for ammo. Use that ice bomb to slow down enemies. And feel free to use your newly acquired rocket launcher. I'm going to be being hypermobile here, making sure to keep running around, getting some glory kills, and just taking my time trying my best to survive. There are a lot of enemies that will attack you, so moving around the map and looking behind you is a pretty viable strategy to defeating them. Once you kill them all, you should unlock a weapon point and proceed to the next area. As you make your way to the next area, directly in front of us will be a very large door. Don't go through it just yet. Instead, look for a Cacodemon and take it out as your first priority. It can spawn on either the left or the right. There isn't really any rhyme or reason. But from the door, look to the left-hand side, and at the end of the hallway, we'll find a Sentinel Battery. Make sure you pick that up. Then, before going through the door, go all the way to the right-hand side. You'll find one of those meleeable pads. Melee it to reveal a swing bar. Swing from one bar to the next bar, and then swing from that bar to a climbable wall, and double dash into a 1-up that is floating right above the middle of the area to find a secret and get that extra life. We can now go through the door and stand on the little pad in order for it to take us automatically to like a central area here. We'll call this thing an elevator, but it kind of is like more like a train car than anything. We'll go to this kind of somewhat story element. You'll notice a bunch of enemies lined up. Feel free to take out all of these enemies. You can get your ammo back and some health back by doing stuff on them. And after you take out all of them, you'll also get a supercharge that'll spawn right in the middle of the area, which can be helpful if you need some health and armor. Just keep following the mission markers for the next couple of minutes until you get a small cutscene showing you the super shotgun.
Your super shotgun is nearby, a relic from your past. The priests have kept it hidden from you in this remote location.
At this point, you can drop down to start a fight. You'll also be introduced into a new enemy type called Q-Ball, which is a person that has a lit tank of fire on their back. And basically, you can shoot them into the direction of another enemy, and they will smash into them and blow up. Now, there's only one thing I should say, and that is a short apology. I accidentally turned off my HUD for the next minute or two, and you won't see any of my health or my ammo or my abilities on screen. I actually thought this was part of the mission before I realized that I had done it in order to get a really good thumbnail for the video. And as a result, I ended up losing 2 lives while playing because I didn't realize that I was dying because I had no health. You hopefully won't have as much trouble with this fight as me, but once you kill and clear all of the enemies, you should be able to get back up to the above area. So now that the platform is taking us back up, only one of the 4 doors will open up, and it kind of leads us to a little bit of like an icy area. So go through the icy area door. It's actually the one that I can't see on my screen right now. If we look to the left as we enter through the door, you'll find your Automap. So this one's completely optional, like in all of our videos, but I like to grab them just so you guys can have a nice and beautiful map in your pause screen. At this point, I'll bring my HUD back up, so I'll have a HUD on screen for the rest of the video. Sorry about that. Things happen. Nonetheless, you can jump down, follow this little platforming section, which I don't think the platforming sections are the best part of Doom Eternal, but we gotta do them. and then jump up, and behind us, interacting with the skull to open up all of the doors in front of us. And there will be a crystal in front of us for our crystal upgrade. There's actually a optional mission challenge as well for picking this up. I'm going to go with the Napalm Belch additional health. Probably not a great idea. I could really use more ammo. I would probably recommend you have at least one ammo upgrade at this point. Ammo is very useful. Now, one of the 4 doors next to this crystal is the Gore nest, and we'll interact with that Gore nest. This one's actually pretty hard. We get about 20 seconds to take out a bunch of enemies. The key to this one is making sure to use the cue ball explosive enemies and making sure that you launch them into the other enemies, as this will basically make those enemies die right away and make the fight a lot easier. There will be a revenant, which we can take out with the cue ball, as well as a Cacodemon and a couple of shield enemies. Hopefully you're able to succeed at it. It might take you a couple of tries, but once you complete it, you'll get one of those mission weapon points in the top right of the screen. Then we can go through that last door that we haven't been through. You'll see these 2 moving parts on the left and the right. Go into the left one and then let yourself get lowered and then follow the path. There's a Cacodemon here. We'll take it out. Now, the mission marker will tell us to go all the way up, but instead, what we want to do is go across this area and drop down here to find a Praetor suit point. At this point, I'm going to look through my menu and actually use some of my upgrades, as I have acquired about 7 of them and they're just sitting around. Now, the 2 that I'll buy are, one of them is an ice bomb, and it's for basically getting extra health from enemies who are damaged while in ice. I found this one to be pretty useful to get health in harder sections. Additionally, under environment, I will grab the one that drops extra ammo when we blow up barrels, as I found that ammo can be a little bit hard to come by later on in the game. Once we come out of this menu, or don't, however you plan on playing the game, jump back up onto the ledge we came from, jump to the mission marker, melee the small pad to open up the swingable gate, shoot the button to open up the door, double jump, double dash across to the climbable wall, and then jump behind us and to the left to the armor up top, which will bring us to a level above us. As we come out, a bunch of enemies will attack us. We should make quick work of the revenants using a rocket launcher or whatever method you want. After clearing out the area, we'll go to the side opposite from where we came, go inside of the little elevator, and wait for it to bring you up. You don't have to go up if you don't want to, but there is definitely something you'll want if you're going for 100%. Drop down and grab that battery. Then the door will open and reveal where we can head back to where we came from in order to proceed with mission progress. So jump back and then go to the newly opened door up top here. Make sure you recharge that double dash if you did use it. There is a jumping section here, so make sure you're careful. And you'll have to double dash quite a few times. It does take a little bit of time for that double dash to recharge, so watch out. Now, this next section is interesting. It could have been really cool. I kind of didn't like it personally, but you can melee this altar, and you get to basically possess a cyber demon. There's a small little battle section where you play as the Revenant, and you just have to kill everything. Once you kill everything, you will be able to grab the super shotgun and then bring it back from where we came. So I'll rejoin you with commentary once that happens. All the controls for this are on the left-hand side of the screen, and the jetpack does have a recharge. Feel free to watch the cutscene, but afterwards you will get the super shotgun. Now that's a lot of damage. This weapon's pretty cool. You'll be spending a lot of time reloading it, but it does a massive amount of damage, as I said. So you'll be able to use it on enemies if you want to one-hit them from pretty far away, or if, you know, you're not really dealing with the big dudes. Because the big dudes do require a reload, this gun isn't too efficient on them, but you'll enter a room and there are like 8 little crates that line the outside of the room. Inside each crate there is a battle that you'll need to just basically clear all the crates. Some of them are really, really easy. Some of them are quite difficult. You can do them in any order you want. There is a Wanderer, which I actually killed kind of by accident. If you keep him alive, you can open up this next crate and then shoot him into these 2 enemies to basically take them out right away. Also on the super shotgun, there's an ability where I think you can select the left trigger and you can like chain yourself towards an enemy, which is really cool. Once you mop up everything in the room, do not jump down the hole. We'll quickly grab a collectible before we do that. After I miss like 7 shots in a row, definitely on purpose. But use the swing bar to jump above the hole we're supposed to drop down into. Also make sure you grab a bunch of armor and ammo before leaving. We might need it later. This secret is for a cheat code that enables Sentinel armor. We'll be able to access that in a later episode if we want. We will then drop down the hole into the mission marker. There will be a ton of enemies in front of us. You might want to try to use your fire belch here if you didn't do the challenge earlier, or you might want to try to build up your ammo or your armor while working on these enemies. About halfway through this room, after taking out all of these enemies, there is a secret little vent to the right-hand side of the screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to punch our way through that vent once we take out a bunch of these enemies, watching out for the saw blades as well. So take out those enemies, go through that vent, and you'll find a secret. I don't actually remember what's inside. Let's find out what's inside together as I do the commentary after I film the video portion. So once you're inside, grab the secret, and it's a toy. Very cool. Now, directly across from you, enemies will spawn right after you pick up the toy. You may want to take them out so that they don't kill you. Push on through the room in order to make your way to the end. At the end of the room, you can pick up health and armor before exiting. After reaching this room, you'll want to look down and you'll be able to jump and dash underneath a gate to a climbable wall, and then you'll be able to use some swing bars in order to get to the end. This is part of the mission progress. At the end, you'll need to dash into a wall and then climb up and press a button to open the door, as well as enable the man cannons. Jump up to the top middle, look to the left-hand side to find a Praetor suit point. Make sure you grab it. Feel free to use it if you want to spend it. And then we'll jump back across in the other direction. Make sure you let your dash regenerate and get across. You'll need to shoot a button and climb a bunch of walls just to make some progress here. Once you land at the top, go inside of this ice cave and then look to the right-hand side to find an optional side room. Do not blow up the mines in the middle, they can help you. Instead, bust through the wall to find a secret encounter Gore nest. This one's very difficult. I would highly recommend getting your rocket launcher ready with lock on. Once the enemies spawn, you want to focus on the 2 whiplashes as well as the mancubus. You don't have a lot of time here, only about 25 seconds, and these enemies are difficult. Make sure you use whatever in your arsenal you want to use. Use your chainsaw, use your ice bomb, use your belcher, whatever you need to make it out alive and make it out before the time is over. If you do fail multiple times, it might be easier for you to just load your checkpoint from the menu so that you can bring more life and ammo into this fight instead of having to start the fight at a disadvantage. Go back to the meat grinders, push the button, double dash across, climb to the top, turn around, and you will see a 1-up. Grab it before you move on. In this next room, there are a bunch of tentacles and a bunch of enemies. We're just going to take our time taking them out and hopefully not dying. Once everyone's taken out, from where we entered the area, look into the room, and in the far left corner, you'll notice a push plate that kind of shoves stuff up against the roof. And you want to wait for it to come down and then jump on top of it and go to the left. Follow along to find a secret album. You'll want to make sure to pick this up. These are all mandatory if you want to get all those collectible related achievements and exploration. Then what we can do is go to kind of the center of the room and again go on top of the push plate to find a supercharge above us. This one is optional but does help. I would probably recommend you just grab it while you're here. Then go back to the first push plate, and instead of going to the left to find that album, go to the right to go around and connect to the other room. Watch out for the tentacle. Melee through the green wall, and then stand on the green square, and then shoot the green button. You'll be lifted up to the next area where there is a fight. I would highly suggest you use the cue balls effectively here to make this fight really easy. Once all the enemies are taken out, do not press the button yet. There is a collectible to grab. So turn around and hop up on this ledge where there might be a large health pack if you haven't already used it. Look down and you'll see an ice cave with a small entrance. Jump down and dash inside to find a dope fish. This is a secret, but make sure you also press this button on the side here in order to get the 1-up, which basically comes from the dope fish. It's inside of it. Take the push pad or the man cannon up, and what we'll need to do to open this door in front of us is drop down into the hole, stand on the green square, shoot the button, and then very quickly from here run to the meleeable switch and melee it to connect the laser that opens up the door. Once the door opens up, you'll get a battle happening in front of you. Just take care of all of the enemies in whatever strategy you prefer.
We will break your will yet.
After the battle, the door in front of us opens up. Feel free to use your sticky bomb on the weak point of the Arachnotron if you haven't already done that. I assume you have, but just in case you haven't, you might want to grab that and get that out of the way. And then go into the room. Before solving all of the stuff in the room, we have a Slayer key, Slayer gate, and Empyrean key to grab. So jump down and to the right to find a grabbable wall from behind the giant cross in the middle of the room. Here you can find a swing bar and then find a wall that we can climb. Then we'll have to turn around and do a triple or quadruple dash to another climbable wall. Once we get to the top, just turn around, look behind you, and jump on that ledge. Jump from the ledge to the swing bar, and from the swing bar to the Slayer gate key. Once you grab it, the door in front of you will open, and across from where the giant cross is in the middle of the room, you can find that Slayer gate. As with the first Slayer gate in the last mission, this is a long, big, and somewhat difficult battle. I actually found this battle easier than some of the other ones we did in the level. But you just have to survive all the way through. You want to focus on the big baddies. You want to make sure you stay alive with, using your glory kills and your chainsaw. Use your belches and your ice bombs and your frags in whatever way you think is useful to you. And I would highly recommend using the rocket launcher lock-on for some of the bigger, badder enemies. But after about 3 or 4 minutes, you should be done. If you do die or, aren't able to successfully do it, just keep retrying until you're successful. On the harder difficulties, these are really hard. After killing everything in the Slayer Gate, you'll receive your 3 weapon points in the top right corner. For the purple area, we're now at 9 out of 10. There's kind of one more major fight left. Try to grab as much ammo and stuff before you leave if you want. But after that, the Gore nest should explode and reveal an Empyrean key. Again, we need 6 of these keys in order to unlock a secret weapon later in the game. Now, in order to be able to exit out of this room, go behind the big cross and use the swing bar to go up and to the left using the climbable wall. Once you're at the top, turn around and then double jump, double dash across to get to the other climbable wall. Then get to the top and again, turn around and land on ledge. From the ledge, drop down, you'll see a giant block that we can melee to push, and we will do that. Meleeing this block will cause a counterweight to slam into the ground and open it up, and then we can jump into the pad or the man cannon and then double jump, double dash into the chest of the cross, and do a melee to bring it all down. This will generate a ramp for us that we're now able to use to exit the area. Just follow the main mission objective markers for a little bit. I'll rejoin you with commentary once we have something we can miss.
I do not fear you. This match is not won yet. Come find me, Slayer. I will be waiting.
At the end of the platform ride, do not go forward. Instead, go to the right-hand side, and at the end of the hall, find a Praetor suit point. Make sure you grab this one, and as always, feel free to spend it if you want. Then what we can do is just pick up any ammo, armor that we might need before our final fight. And there is a fight coming up here that the ground will break beneath us. If you go to the left-hand side, there's a cave that you can melee into that has the haste ability. It basically just lets you move really quickly for about 10 seconds or so. It's completely optional, but I ended up actually picking it up after my fight. I'll show you exactly where it is if you just want to grab it for fun. But otherwise, we're basically just fighting until the mission is over. We'll rejoin you, though, with a little bit of commentary right after we kill all the enemies.
I will lock in signal now.
After all the enemies are dead, feel free to walk around, pick up some ammo and some armor for the next level. And before exiting, we can also look inside of this door, which was the secret that I mentioned. It's the haste. It just lets you move around really quickly, but is optional nonetheless. We can get onto the elevator, then onto the train car, interact with it, and this will end mission 3. There is no Fortress of Doom. You will be shot straight into mission 4 right after. We should get all 10 out of our combat, all 3 of our challenges, and all 17 of our exploration. Feel free to look through all your tabs to make sure everything was at 100%, and then we can move on to the next level, and hopefully I'll see you with my next video. Thank you for watching along, and thank you for your patience as I upload these videos. Special thanks to everyone on Patreon for supporting the show. Shout out to 00. Peace.